Hey, you absolute legends, we're at Make Believe Studios, and for today's Young Man Yells at Cloud, I want to first address our last Young Man Yells at Cloud and say that Avid and I have officially hugged it out. Quite literally. There's a wonderful woman who works at Avid, and we had a chance to sit down at NAMM, and we ended up giving each other a big old hug, and everything seems relatively good now. I will say that Avid went above and beyond to step outside of the bounds of their customer service that I've seen in the past to really try and make this right with me and Make Believe, and that was a breath of fresh air. So kudos to them, and thank you guys. So the next thing I want to talk about, though, is UAD and what is going on with the whole, do you own a native license? Do you not own a native license? You do, but you get a voucher and then you have a certain amount of time. So it seems like what previously was happening is that if you owned a DSP version of the plugin and then you saw that they came out with a native version of the plugin, you could go download the native version of the plugin and you continued to own it because you own the DSP version, and there wasn't really a time limit or anything like that. And what has now changed is that how it works is if a new native version comes out of a plugin that you already own, they will send you a voucher in which you have 30 days to download that plugin, and if you don't download it within 30 days, you can pay a nominal fee and you can go get a new copy. And I think that this is just very backwards. I don't understand why I should, one, have to jump through hoops and 14,000 emails to make sure that I keep track of things that I already own. I own these plugins and I haven't seen any vouchers come through to my email. Do I have to go and request these things? Maybe so, but I don't feel like I should. And I didn't have to before. So why would you go and make this harder for people? And it doesn't seem like I'm the only person who is taking a little bit of, qualms with this. I will say it makes me think of the business that we do with Metric Halo, though, because when you buy a license from Metric Halo, you own that license and you can continue to use it on your computer. And if you go and buy one of their interfaces, the plugins that they make are available inside of those interfaces. And I think that is a pretty intelligent and elegant way to handle the whole DSP versus native license. If you have the interface, you get access to the DSP that is developed for that interface. And if you want to use that stuff inside of a computer, well, then you buy it and you can continue to utilize it inside of a computer. My mind just goes to the darkest of dystopian nightmares when it comes to where we're going, especially when I think about the things that I've been seeing in the news when it comes to Wendy's and their surge pricing business model that's coming up. And when I think of surge pricing with plugin usage and the software that we use, one thing that pops in my mind historically is the way that the oral exciter came into the market. When that was originally introduced, how it worked is there was a little voltmeter that was tacked onto the XLR and you couldn't rent it by the week. How it worked is they rented it to you by the amount of voltage you ran through it. So every minute of audio that went through it produced a certain amount of voltage on the front of that input. And they charged you by the amount of minutes of time that you ran through the unit. And I think that when it comes to plugin pricing, could you imagine if you had a plugin that, charged you for every minute that it was open in your session? Because it seems like that could be where things may end up if some of this stuff isn't really reined in and figured out amongst the industry. How are we going to go about making sure that people are entitled to the things that they're entitled to and own the things that they're supposed to own? I just want to say that this opinion is coming from myself as a customer who spent thousands of dollars on Universal Audio software. And if I could sum up my opinion, there's a Reddit comment that I'm not going to quote exactly verbatim, but it went something like this. They said, as someone who spent tens of thousands of dollars on Universal Audio as well as software, I don't really appreciate when a company that I'm doing business with feels petty. And this feels petty. Have a great day.